The Great Pyramid of Giza. For thousands of years, it has stood in silence, watching over the shifting sands of Egypt. Its enormous mass dominates the desert horizon, a mountain of stone constructed not by nature, but by human hands, or perhaps something far beyond human hands. Even today, as jets streak overhead and digital satellites orbit in space, the Great Pyramid continues to whisper questions into the minds of those who dare to look at it too closely. Mainstream history tells us the answer is simple. These were tombs, monuments to the egos of ancient kings who wished to ascend to the heavens in death. Ask any textbook and it will say, with great certainty, that the pyramids were funerary monuments of the Old Kingdom, built for Pharaoh Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. Yet the deeper one looks, the less this answer satisfies. Because if these immense structures were truly just tombs, they are unlike any tombs ever built in the history of the world. Let us start with the simplest observation. Where are the mummies? In every verified tomb of Egypt, from the Valley of the Kings to the hidden chambers of lesser nobles, the remains of the dead have been found. Painted walls covered with spells and prayers, sarcophagi adorned with sacred texts, amulets, offerings, and treasures meant to guide the soul into the afterlife. All of this is present in tombs, large and small. But the Great Pyramid? Nothing. No inscriptions on the walls. No hieroglyphic instructions for the journey of the soul. No treasures, no painted murals. Not even a body. When Napoleon Bonaparte entered the Great Pyramid in 1799, he expected to find wonders. Instead, he found only silence. A granite sarcophagus, cold and empty, sat alone in a chamber now called the King's Chamber. The walls were bare. The corridors echoed like stone lungs. Napoleon reportedly left shaken, refusing to ever speak of what he experienced inside. This absence is not a trivial matter. It is the first great crack in the story we've been told. Because of a structure of such colossal scale, requiring more than 2 million stone blocks, each weighing several tons, was not built to house a king's corpse. Then what purpose did it truly serve? Modern Egyptology insists the body was simply stolen, looted by ancient grave robbers who stripped the pyramid bare in antiquity. Convenient. But this explanation leaves many problems unsolved. First, robbers never touched other tombs without leaving a trace. Broken seals, scattered debris, discarded treasures. Yet here, nothing. The supposed plundered pyramid gives no evidence of disturbance, only a pristine emptiness. Second, why build such a monumentally complex structure if the burial chamber could so easily be robbed? The ancient Egyptians knew well how to conceal tombs, carving them deep underground in winding passages hidden beneath the Valley of the Kings. Why then put Khufu's resting place in the largest, most obvious monument on Earth? The deeper you look, the more the tomb theory begins to unravel. The Great Pyramid has no inscriptions naming Khufu. In fact, there is no definitive proof that Khufu built it at all. A single crude quarry mark discovered in a hidden chamber above the King's Chamber in the 1800s is often cited as proof. But many researchers have pointed out problems with this graffiti, suggesting it may have even been forged in the 19th century. Without that mark, the connection between Khufu and the Great Pyramid becomes tenuous at best. Then, there is the precision. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north with an accuracy of 3/60 ths of a degree, something not matched by modern builders until the invention of sophisticated surveying equipment. Its base is a perfect square, each side over 750 feet long, differing in length by no more than a fraction of an inch. The joints between its massive limestone casing stones are so tight that a razor blade cannot fit between them. This is not the work of a hurried burial project for a single man's vanity. This is something else entirely. Mainstream archaeologists often dismiss these anomalies, explaining them away with vague appeals to ritual significance or symbolic meaning. But when you strip away the protective layers of academic certainty, the truth stands exposed. We do not know, with any real certainty, why the pyramids were built. And this is where the mystery takes hold. For thousands of years, across cultures and continents, travelers, scholars, and seekers have looked at these colossal monuments and felt the same stirring question. What if the pyramids were not tombs at all? Some ancient traditions suggest they were storehouses of knowledge, constructed to preserve wisdom from a lost age. Others whisper of them as instruments of initiation, places where the living underwent spiritual death and rebirth. Still others see them as gigantic machines, harnessing forces of Earth and cosmos we have only begun to rediscover. No matter which path you follow, the tomb explanation grows weaker, while the mystery itself grows stronger. Why does the Great Pyramid contain peculiar air shafts that lead to specific points in the night sky? Why do its dimensions encode mathematical constants and the very curvature of the Earth? Why do explorers report strange energies and sensations when standing within its chambers? And perhaps most importantly, why, after more than 4,500 years, does this monument continue to draw us into its silent enigma, as if it wants us to remember something we have forgotten? This is the mystery that refuses to die, a mystery too large to be ignored, too precise to be dismissed, and too powerful to leave unexplored. And so, we begin our journey, not with the dry certainty of textbooks, but with an open mind, willing to ask the questions that mainstream history avoids. If the pyramids were not tombs, then what were they? The answer may lie not in what we've been told, but in what has been left unsaid. If the Great Pyramid was truly meant as a tomb, then something is terribly wrong. Because in all of Egypt's history, tombs follow a recognizable pattern. Yet here, that pattern is broken in almost every possible way. Let's begin with what makes an Egyptian tomb a tomb. Step into the Valley of the Kings, and you'll see walls drenched in color, spells from the Book of the Dead, vibrant murals of gods and demons, rivers of stars, solar boats, and magical incantations meant to guide the soul of the pharaoh into eternity. These walls speak. They tell stories, they provide maps for the afterlife, they are instruction manuals for immortality. In every confirmed royal tomb, you can almost hear the voice of the priest chanting, their words etched forever into the stone. Now return to the Great Pyramid. The corridors stretch into silence. No murals, no painted stars, no sacred spells. The granite walls of the king's chamber stand mute, as though this place was never meant for the dead at all. If Khufu, or any king, was laid to rest here, he was sent into the afterlife without a single guiding word. For a culture obsessed with ritual and cosmic order, this is not just strange, it is unthinkable. The sarcophagus itself deepens the puzzle. Carved from a single block of red granite, it lies inside the king's chamber. But it is completely unadorned. No hieroglyphs, no carvings, no names. Compare this to Tutankhamun's tomb, where even the smallest amulet is inscribed with protective prayers. The stark emptiness of the Great Pyramid's sarcophagus screams against every Egyptian funerary tradition we know. Some argue, of course, that time erased it all, that robbers stripped the pyramid of its treasures, its sarcophagus lid, even the pharaoh's body. But this explanation collapses under scrutiny. If robbers entered, where is the evidence of their presence? In tomb after tomb, we see the violence of looting, broken doors, discarded objects, smashed treasures. Yet the Great Pyramid is intact. Its granite coffer was never smashed open. Its walls were never desecrated. It is as though it was never filled in the first place. Even stranger are the hidden passages. Above the king's chambers sit 5 relieving chambers, stacked like stone vaults. In the 1830s, British explorer Howard Vyse broke his way into these spaces and discovered red quarry marks, graffiti naming work gangs supposedly tied to Khufu. Egyptologists seized on this as proof that the pyramid was his tomb. But suspicions linger. The marks are written in awkward positions, upside down, in places where ancient quarrymen could not have stood. And they bear the cartouche of Khufu in a style some experts believe was not used until much later. Were they authentic, or were they a convenient way to prove the tomb theory at a time when Vice was desperate for recognition. Let's weigh the evidence more closely. No body, no funerary texts, no trechers, no inscriptions linking the pyramid clearly to Khufu, save for a suspicious piece of graffiti. If this is a tomb, it is the strangest, most incomplete tomb in history. And then there is the greater question: why build such an unparalleled structure with such impossible precision just to hide a single man's corpse? Egypt had built tombs before and many after. None required 3 million stone blocks, some weighing over 70 tons. None were aligned to the cardinal directions with pinpoint accuracy. None encoded advanced mathematical ratios within their geometry. If Khufu truly demanded this, why did no other pharaoh attempt the same? Why did his successors return to building simple mastabas and underground tombs? Was Khufu uniquely megalomaniacal? Or is the entire Khufu tomb story simply a misinterpretation of something far deeper? And consider this: of all the major pyramids of Egypt, not one has ever produced a royal mummy. Not one. Not from Khufu, Khafre, Menkaure, or any other Old Kingdom pyramid. Time and again, what archaeologists find inside is nothing. Empty chambers, empty sarcophagi, empty silence. Could it be that they were never meant to contain bodies at all? Some researchers suggest that the pyramids were cenotaphs, symbolic tombs, not meant to hold remains. Others suggest they were temples of energy, initiation chambers, or libraries of stone. But the evidence points toward a critical realization. If the pyramids were truly tombs, then they are failures. They failed to protect the body. They failed to preserve the inscriptions. They failed to follow the very traditions of Egyptian burial. And yet, their construction is so perfect, their endurance so absolute, that failure seems like the last possible explanation. The orthodox view clings to the robbed tomb theory because without it, history begins to crumble. If the pyramids were not tombs, then Egyptology loses its foundation. The timeline of civilization must be rewritten. Our understanding of ancient knowledge, power, and purpose must be reevaluated from the ground up. And so the Great Pyramid sits, empty yet full of meaning. Its silent corridors whisper not of death, but of something else, something we're not meant to see if we look only with a narrow lens of funerary monument. Perhaps the truth lies not in what is missing, but in what remains. For while there are no bodies, no treasures, no painted spells, there is something more enduring: geometry, alignment, resonance. These were not accidents. These were the fingerprints of intention. The absence of a tomb is not a void. It is a clue. And if we follow that clue, it leads us into far stranger and more compelling territory. Because if the pyramids were not built for the dead, then perhaps they were built for the living. And in the next step of our journey, we will confront the question of engineering. How such a structure, so precise, so immense, could even be built at all, and whether the explanation points to something far beyond the world of the ancient Egyptians. When most people look at the Great Pyramid, they see a monument of stone. But when engineers, architects, and builders examine it, they see something far stranger, something that should not exist in the ancient world. The sheer precision, the impossible logistics, and the overwhelming scale of the pyramid suggest that its construction was not merely ambitious, but almost superhuman. To this day, no one can explain with absolute certainty how it was built. Let's begin with the scale. The Great Pyramid originally stood at 481 feet tall, its gleaming limestone casing stones reflecting sunlight so brilliantly that it was visible for miles across the desert. Each side of its base measures over 755 feet, and the entire structure is made up of an estimated 3 million blocks of stone. These blocks range in weight from 2 tons to over 70 tons. Altogether, the pyramid weighs some 5 million tons, a weight distribution so perfectly balanced that it has stood for over 4,500 years, surviving earthquakes, erosion, and even the stripping away of its casing stones by later builders. Now, imagine the labor this required. If the pyramid was built in just 20 years, as mainstream Egyptology claims, it would mean quarrying, transporting, and precisely placing one block every 2.5 minutes, working day and night without pause for 2 decades straight. Even with modern cranes and trucks, such a feat would strain our abilities. Without them, it borders on the impossible. Consider the quarrying. Many of the massive granite blocks used inside the king's chamber came from Aswan, over 500 miles to the south. Transporting 70-ton stones across that distance, on wooden sledges over desert sand, raises enormous logistical problems. Egyptologists suggest they were floated down the Nile on barges, but the river narrows and curves in ways that would make this journey a nightmare, if not outright unfeasible. Then there is the placement. The casing stones of the pyramid, before they were stripped away, fit so tightly that not even a sheet of paper could slide between them. Some joints are less than a millimeter thick, achieved not with mortar, but with a level of craftsmanship that suggests machining rather than hand tools. How could copper chisels and pounding stones achieve this level of perfection? How could ropes and ramps lift multi-ton blocks hundreds of feet into the air with such flawless alignment? Even the base of the pyramid is a marvel. It rests on a bedrock platform leveled with such accuracy that modern laser technology finds it nearly perfect. The difference in height across the vast base is less than 2 inches. Today, construction crews require advanced surveying instruments to achieve this kind of precision. Are we to believe that ancient Egyptians, with nothing but string, plumb bobs, and water channels, achieved it by hand? Some explanations rely on massive ramps. Egyptologists suggest a mile-long ramp of mud brick and limestone, rising in gradual incline, used to drag the stones upward. But such a ramp would itself require millions of tons of material and would have to be dismantled afterward, leaving almost no trace. Others propose spiral ramps wrapping around the pyramid as it rose. But these two present problems: how do you maneuver 70-ton granite beams around tight corners, or keep the angles exact without modern instruments? As each mainstream theory struggles, alternative ideas rush in to fill the void. Some researchers suggest the builders used advanced lost technologies, perhaps machines capable of lifting and shaping stone in ways we no longer understand. Others argue for knowledge of sound or vibration, using resonance to move blocks as though they were weightless. Ancient texts from across the world whisper of stones that sang, or gods who commanded the rocks to rise. Are these simply myths, or dim memories of techniques now forgotten? Then there are those who propose something even more radical: that the Great Pyramid is evidence not just of lost human technology, but of influence from an advanced civilization predating Egypt entirely. Whether Atlantis or some other vanished culture, these theories suggest the pyramid was inherited, not invented, constructed long before Khufu, and merely claimed by him when it was already ancient. Supporting this idea are signs of erosion on the Sphinx and surrounding structures, which some geologists argue show evidence of heavy rainfall that has not touched the Giza Plateau since long before the rise of dynastic Egypt. If true, it would mean the pyramid builders lived in an age lost to memory, thousands of years before recorded history. But whether one believes in lost civilizations or not, the problem of engineering remains unsolved. The Great Pyramid is not just big, it is precise. It is aligned to true north with a margin of error so small that only satellites and GPS can improve upon it. Its shafts point toward specific stars. Its proportions encode mathematical constants, such as pi and the golden ratio. This is not crude construction by primitive workers. This is architecture guided by knowledge that seems to belong more to modern science than to the Bronze Age. Think of this. The pyramid's height in relation to its base encodes the number pi. Its perimeter corresponds to the Earth's equatorial circumference, scaled down. Its location sits almost exactly at the geographic center of the landmass of Earth, dividing continents and oceans with uncanny precision. Was this accident or design? If design, then the builders not only knew geometry, but geography, astronomy, and perhaps even the size of the planet itself. Mainstream scholars shrug at these coincidences, suggesting they are accidental or symbolic. But how many accidents can pile up before they form a pattern? How many symbols does it take before we must consider the possibility of intention? The truth is that the Great Pyramid embodies a level of engineering that does not fit neatly into the narrative of human history as we know it. It is an outlier, a monument that whispers of a lost chapter in our past. If the pyramid's construction cannot be explained by conventional tools, then perhaps it was not conventional. Perhaps it was built for purposes far greater than a pharaoh's vanity, by means we are only beginning to rediscover. And so, we must ask the next question. If the pyramid was engineered with such extraordinary precision, why? What was its purpose? Because engineering this advanced is never wasted. It is always in service of function. And the first clue lies not on Earth, but in the heavens. The stars above Giza hold secrets that mirror the stones below. And in the next part of our journey, we will uncover how the Great Pyramid was not just an earthly monument, but a celestial instrument, aligned to the cosmos itself. The Great Pyramid is not only a marvel of engineering on Earth, it is also a monument to the heavens. For while its stones weigh millions of tons, its true weight may be measured in the stars. The builders did not simply raise a mountain of limestone. They aligned it with the cosmos in ways that defy coincidence, suggesting a purpose far grander than burial. Let us begin with the most famous alignment, the three pyramids of Giza themselves. From above, they appear as if scattered across the desert at random, until one notices their pattern mirrors the three stars of Orion's belt. The smallest pyramid, offset slightly from the line, reflects the dimmest star, Mintaka. This correlation was first proposed in the 1980s by researchers Robert Bauval and Adrian Gilbert, and though it has been debated, the symmetry is undeniable. Was this mere chance, or a deliberate attempt to anchor heaven onto Earth? If it were only Orion, perhaps coincidence could be argued, but the alignments multiply. The causeways leading from the pyramids point toward the solstice sunrise and sunset, marking the turning of the year. The Great Pyramid itself is oriented to true north with uncanny accuracy, off by just a fraction of a degree. To achieve this, the builders would have had to observe the slow drift of the stars across centuries, an astronomical precision that modern instruments only recently rediscovered. Inside the pyramid, the alignments grow even stranger. Narrow shafts lead out from the so-called king's and queen's chambers, piercing the massive stone body of the monument. For years, they were dismissed as ventilation ducts. Yet careful measurements reveal they are not random. They point directly to specific stars. The southern shaft of the king's chamber aligns with Orion's belt, the celestial hunter whom the Egyptians identified with Osiris, god of rebirth. The northern shaft points to Thuban, the pole star of around 2500 BC, symbol of eternal immortality. In the queen's chamber, the southern shaft points to Sirius, the star of Isis, consort of Osiris, whose rising marked the flooding of the Nile and the renewal of life. What does this mean? That the pyramid was not a tomb, but a star temple built to connect the earth to the heavens. The pharaoh, or perhaps the initiate, would stand within at the heart of stone and geometry, his spirit guided through shafts of light toward the gods themselves. It was not death that the pyramid served, but transformation, ascension into the eternal realm of the stars. Mainstream scholars argue that such alignments could be symbolic, even accidental. But when so many converge, the Orion correlation, the solstices, the shafts to Osiris and Isis, the pattern becomes overwhelming. It is not accident. It is architecture woven with astronomy, as though the builders wanted to freeze the heavens in stone. Consider also the Sphinx crouching nearby. It faces due east, its gaze fixed on the rising sun of the spring equinox. Some researchers argue that in ancient times, around 10,500 BC, the Sphinx would have looked directly at the constellation Leo, the lion, as the sun rose behind it. If true, the entire Giza plateau may form a vast cosmic clock, marking not just years, but ages, the great cycles of the stars known as precession, spanning over 26,000 years. Could it be that the builders encoded not just a moment in history, but the very rhythm of time itself? Other cultures hint at similar practices. The Mayans aligned their pyramids with solstices and equinoxes, their temples casting serpent shadows as the sun shifted through the year. At Stonehenge, great stones align with midsummer sunrise and midwinter sunset. Across the globe, ancient monuments speak the same language: stone and star, earth and heaven, locked together as one. And so we must ask, was this a coincidence of culture or the echo of a shared, ancient knowledge, one that spread across continents, guiding civilizations to build monuments not to kings, but to the cosmos? Even more astonishing is what happens when we look at the Great Pyramid's proportions. Its height compared to its perimeter encodes not just geometry, but astronomy. The number pi, the golden ratio, and even the ratio between the Earth's distance from the Sun and the size of the Moon. Its slope angle of 85 degrees mirrors key celestial arcs. Was this purely symbolic, or was the pyramid itself a model of the heavens, a scaled-down cosmos in stone? In the ancient Egyptian worldview, the afterlife was not a place of clouds and harps, but a voyage among the stars. The dead king became Osiris, traveling through the night sky, reborn as the morning sun. Perhaps the pyramid was the ship of this voyage, a stargate in stone. But if so, it may not have been limited to kings. Some esoteric traditions suggest the pyramid was an initiation chamber, where priests, seekers, or adepts underwent rituals that aligned their consciousness with the cosmos, guiding them toward enlightenment. And yet, this raises another question. Why such perfection? If symbolic alignment was all that was needed, a temple or shrine would suffice. Why build a structure of millions of tons, aligned with a precision that still baffles engineers? What was so important about anchoring heaven to earth on this exact scale? Perhaps the pyramid was more than a symbolic star map. Perhaps it functioned as a machine of sorts, its alignments not just spiritual but energetic. Some researchers argue that aligning massive structures to cosmic frequencies could amplify resonance, connecting Earth's natural vibrations to those of the stars. In this sense, the pyramid might have been not just a monument, but a transmitter, bridging terrestrial and celestial energy fields. Skeptics dismiss such ideas as fantasy, but the mystery remains. The builders of the pyramid were obsessed with the heavens. They encoded them in stone with such precision that their work continues to speak across millennia. Whether temple, machine, or cosmic clock, the pyramid is undeniably a mirror of the sky. And this leads us deeper into the heart of the mystery. For if the pyramid is aligned with the stars, perhaps it was designed to do more than simply point to them. Perhaps it was designed to interact with them. Could the Great Pyramid be more than a monument to the heavens? Could it be a machine that harnessed them? This is the question we must face next. Because hidden within its chambers and corridors are not the echoes of death, but the mechanics of power. And as we step deeper inside, the Great Pyramid begins to reveal itself not as a tomb, but as a machine of stone, resonance, and energy. When most people think of the Great Pyramid of Giza, they picture its towering exterior, the perfect geometry, and the awe it inspires from the outside. Yet, the real intrigue lies inside. The internal chambers and passageways of the pyramid tell a story that runs contrary to the tomb theory. If this was truly just a burial site, why build such complex corridors, hidden shafts, and mysterious chambers that seem to serve no funerary purpose? The deeper we look, the clearer it becomes. This was a machine, or at the very least, a structure designed for something far beyond housing a pharaoh's body. The pyramid's interior reveals three primary chambers: the subterranean chamber, cut deep into the bedrock beneath the pyramid; the queen's chamber, located closer to the center of the structure; and the king's chamber, set high in the heart of the pyramid, built with massive granite blocks and capped by an elaborate series of relieving chambers above it. Egyptologists often dismiss these features as practical construction techniques or symbolic design. But to many researchers, The evidence points to engineering sophistication with a clear, functional purpose. Take the subterranean chamber. It is rough-hewn, unfinished, and has no inscriptions or decorative motifs. A curious choice for the supposed eternal resting place of a divine king. The queen's chamber, similarly, has no sarcophagus or funerary function. What it does have, however, are narrow shafts, angled passageways leading outward from the chamber, too small for a human to crawl through. For decades, their purpose baffled scholars. Some said they were air shafts, yet they don't even open properly to the outside. Later investigations revealed that these shafts terminate in small, sealed doors fitted with copper handles, as if designed to carry or channel something. Energy, resonance, or even fluids. Nowhere is the design more enigmatic than in the king's chamber. Constructed from massive granite blocks transported from Aswan, over 500 miles away, this chamber houses a lidless granite box often mistaken for a sarcophagus. Yet no mummies were ever found here, nor any signs of burial goods. What stands out is the chamber's precise geometry and the material itself. Granite, rich in quartz crystals. Quartz has a unique property. It generates electricity when under pressure, a phenomenon known as the piezoelectric effect. Why build a chamber from tons of quartz-rich granite unless it was meant to resonate, vibrate, or amplify forces? Above this chamber lies a system of 5 relieving chambers, stacked layers of granite beams capped by an apex of limestone. Egyptologists claim these were built to reduce pressure from the pyramid's mass. But engineers have pointed out that the configuration resembles a tuning box, capable of absorbing and distributing vibrations. Was this an ancient sound chamber, designed to harness acoustic resonance? Even more fascinating are the precise dimensions of these spaces. The king's chamber resonates at specific frequencies, particularly around 432 Hz, a tone long associated with harmony, healing, and the natural resonance of the earth. Musicians, scientists, and mystics alike have marveled at this sacred frequency. Could it be that the pyramid was deliberately designed to channel sound waves, vibration, and energy in ways that modern science is only beginning to understand? Then there is the Grand Gallery, a steep, soaring corridor that connects the Queen's chamber to the King's chamber. This passage is unlike anything else in ancient Egyptian architecture. Its corbelled roof, high ceiling, and precise angles suggest it was more than just a walkway. Some theorists propose it acted as a resonance hall, amplifying sound or pressure waves that would eventually converge in the king's chamber. Others suggest it functioned like a massive housing space for machinery, wooden beams, water systems, or other devices that may have played a role in the pyramid's operation. None of this fits the standard narrative of a tomb. If the pyramid was simply a burial monument, the simplest chamber and sarcophagus would have sufficed, as seen in the Valley of the Kings, where actual pharaohs were interred. Instead, what we find at Giza is a structure that seems to have been built with precision, purpose, and functionality, something more akin to an energy system or cosmic machine than a mausoleum. The more we examine the chambers, shafts, and alignments, the more it becomes clear the pyramid was designed to do something. It was built with intention, not for death, but for activation. Whether that activation was energetic, spiritual, or technological remains the great mystery. But the evidence of engineering mastery, granite resonance, quartz amplification, sealed shafts, and harmonic geometry cannot be ignored. The Great Pyramid hides in plain sight, not as a tomb of the dead, but as a living instrument of power. The question that remains is, power for what? Was it a generator of energy, a spiritual initiation chamber, or a transmitter of forces we no longer understand? Whatever the truth, the inner design of the pyramid points us toward a conclusion. The builders were not honoring death. They were engineering something extraordinary for the living world. For over 2 centuries, mainstream archaeology has told us that the Great Pyramid was nothing more than a tomb, an extravagant mausoleum for Pharaoh Khufu. Yet no body was found. No treasures, no inscriptions. Just an empty granite box, silent corridors, and hidden shafts that serve no clear funerary function. The mystery is undeniable. But what if the pyramid was not a tomb at all? What if it was a machine, an enormous stone-built device engineered to harness natural forces? This radical idea, once dismissed as pseudoscience, is now drawing renewed interest, especially as new technologies reveal anomalies inside the structure. The machine theory rests on three core observations: material choice, architectural design, and environmental context. Each element of the pyramid appears to work not as symbolic art, but as functional engineering. Start with the materials. The pyramid's outer casing stones were originally made of highly polished Tara limestone, a material that reflects sunlight brilliantly and acts as an insulator. Beneath that, the core blocks were constructed of limestone containing high amounts of magnesium, while the inner chambers were made of granite rich in quartz crystal. Quartz is piezoelectric. It produces electricity under pressure or vibration. In other words, the builders selected their stone not just for strength, but for its electrical properties. Then comes the architecture. The Grand Gallery, the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, and the subterranean passages all form a network that seems deliberately designed to channel energy. The shafts in the Queen's Chamber terminate at sealed copper-fitted doors, as if once part of a circuit. The King's Chamber resonates at specific frequencies when struck, like the inside of a giant tuning fork. And the Grand Gallery, with its soaring, corbelled walls, may have acted as a resonant cavity, amplifying vibration or pressure waves before funneling them into the chambers above. Now, consider the environment. The Great Pyramid is built directly over subterranean water channels of the Nile. These underground rivers create natural vibrations as water flows through limestone bedrock. In modern terms, this is a piezoelectric system waiting to be tapped. Moving water generates vibration. Vibration excites the quartz-rich granite, and resonance converts it into usable energy. Some researchers, like Christopher Dunn, have suggested that the pyramid functioned as a massive power plant. According to this theory, water from the Nile entered the pyramid through hidden channels and flowed into the subterranean chamber. As the water's pressure fluctuated, it caused vibrations that resonated through the pyramid structure. The granite of the King's Chamber amplified these vibrations, while the shafts acted as waveguides, channeling the energy upward. The end result? A harmonic energy generator producing microwaves or electrical currents that could be broadcast into the atmosphere. The implications are staggering. If true, this would mean the ancients had mastered a form of wireless energy transmission thousands of years before Nikola Tesla's experiments in the 19th century. Tesla himself believed the Great Pyramid was far more than a tomb. He studied its dimensions obsessively and noted its uncanny alignment with the cardinal points of the Earth. Tesla even built his Wardenclyffe Tower in New York using similar principles: resonance, vibration, and the transmission of wireless energy. But was electricity the pyramid produced, or something else entirely? Some suggest the energy may not have been purely technological, but spiritual. A machine, yes, but a machine for consciousness. The resonance of the chambers, the frequencies generated, and the alignment with celestial bodies could all have combined to create an environment that altered human perception. In this sense, the pyramid was not a power plant for lights or machines. It was a power plant for the mind, an initiation chamber designed to elevate the initiate into higher states of awareness, opening the gateway between the earthly and the divine. Supporting this are ancient accounts of initiatory rites in Egypt, where priests or adepts would enter chambers in darkness, fast, meditate, and emerge transformed. Could the pyramid itself have been the ultimate initiation machine, designed to bathe the initiate in resonant frequencies that altered consciousness? The machine theory therefore branches into two intertwined interpretations: technological and spiritual. Both rely on the same architecture, the same materials, the same resonance. The difference lies only in the outcome: electricity to power civilization, or energy to power the soul. Mainstream Egyptologists reject these ideas, but their counterarguments often fall flat. They insist the pyramid is a tomb, yet offer no explanation for the lack of burial evidence. They say the shafts are symbolic, yet never explain the copper fittings or the sealed doors. They dismiss the granite resonance as coincidence, though engineers know such precision does not happen by accident. What makes the machine theory compelling is not just the speculative connections, but the fact that so many of its elements mirror modern science. We know quartz produces electricity under vibration. We know resonance chambers amplify frequencies. We know Tesla's wireless energy experiments were real. If a modern engineer designed the pyramid as a power plant, they would likely use the same principles: materials, resonance, water, and vibration. This shifts our perception of the ancient Egyptians entirely. Instead of a civilization obsessed with death and afterlife, we see a people of incredible technological and spiritual sophistication, building devices that harness the earth itself. Whether for powering lights, elevating consciousness, or both, the Great Pyramid as a machine suggests a lost legacy of science that has only begun to resurface. And so, the question deepens. If the Great Pyramid was not a tomb, but a machine, what was it built to power? Civilization itself? Spiritual evolution? Or perhaps something even greater? Something cosmic? If the Great Pyramid was in fact a machine, the question naturally arises: who else in history may have understood its secrets? Strangely, one of the greatest scientific minds of the modern era seemed to share an obsession with its principles: Nikola Tesla. Tesla was a man out of time. Born in 1856, he envisioned a world of free, limitless energy. Energy not generated by coal, oil, or wires, but drawn directly from the Earth itself. He believed the planet was an immense electrical conductor, and that if tapped correctly, it could provide humanity with boundless power. His dream was not to sell energy, but to give it away, accessible to anyone with the right receiver. What makes Tesla fascinating in the context of the pyramids is how many of his ideas parallel the architecture and design of Giza. Tesla built his famous Wardenclyffe Tower on Long Island in the early 1900s. To casual observers, it was simply a 187-foot wooden tower capped with a copper dome. But beneath the surface lay the real secret: a massive shaft dug deep into the earth, lined with conductive materials. Tesla believed that by sending vibrations into the ground, he could resonate with the natural frequencies of the planet itself, essentially turning the Earth into a giant transmitter. Does this sound familiar? A structure built above subterranean water, designed to resonate with Earth's natural energy, capped with conductive materials to broadcast wireless power? Tesla's tower was, in many ways, a modern echo of the pyramid's ancient design. And Tesla himself seemed aware of this. He openly admitted to being fascinated by the Great Pyramid's proportions, studying its geometry and noting its precise alignment with Earth's cardinal directions. He even designed some of his coils and oscillators around similar ratios. The parallels deepen when we consider frequency. Tesla discovered that the Earth resonates at a particular natural frequency, what we now call the Schumann resonance. He believed this resonance could be harnessed for wireless communication and power. Meanwhile, studies of the Great Pyramid have revealed that its king's chamber resonates at harmonic frequencies, some matching tones long associated with healing and consciousness. Were the pyramid builders tuning into the same planetary resonance Tesla later identified? Tesla's dream of free energy, however, was too radical for his time. His backer, J.P. Morgan, famously pulled funding when he realized Tesla's invention would not generate profit. If anyone could draw power from the Earth, where do we put the meter? Morgan allegedly said. The Wardenclyffe Tower was dismantled before Tesla could fully prove his vision. The world was left with power grids, wires, and monopolies instead of free, natural energy. And here lies the striking parallel with the pyramids. If the ancients had indeed discovered a way to harness Earth's energy, what became of it? Was the knowledge lost in the sands of time, or deliberately suppressed? Could it be that just as Tesla's work was silenced by financial interests, so too were the secrets of the pyramids buried by priesthoods, conquerors, and later, the narratives of archaeology? Tesla himself believed that ancient civilizations may have possessed greater knowledge than we give them credit for. He hinted at the idea that his own visions and inventions were not entirely his own, but gifts received in moments of inspiration, tapping into a universal knowledge field. Could he have been tuning into the same universal frequencies that the pyramid was built to amplify? There's also the question of transmission. If the pyramid was a machine, what did it transmit? Tesla's tower was designed to broadcast wireless energy across vast distances. Receivers placed miles away could light lamps without wires. Some theorists speculate that the pyramid may have worked the same way, broadcasting energy that could be received by obelisks, smaller pyramids, or even specially designed devices spread across ancient Egypt. Was this the hidden infrastructure of a civilization powered by the Nile's energy, its monuments serving as both spiritual centers and functional receivers of wireless power? Skeptics argue that this is all romantic fantasy. Yet, the hard facts remain. Tesla demonstrated wireless transmission on a small scale. His tower was real. His discoveries about resonance and earth energy are accepted today. The Great Pyramid's alignment, proportions, and material choices are real. Its acoustic and energetic anomalies have been measured. Both the ancient and the modern point toward the same principles. Imagine the cinematic symmetry. In one age, stone giants rise from the desert, humming with Earth's natural power, serving as beacons of energy and initiation. In another age, a lone inventor builds a tower on Long Island, hoping to recreate the same miracle for modern humanity, only to see it destroyed. Two moments, separated by thousands of years, linked by a single idea, that energy is free, abundant, and tied to the very heartbeat of the planet. Perhaps this is why the pyramid continues to captivate us. It is not just a monument of the past. It is a reminder of a lost future. Tesla's story shows us what happens when visionary knowledge collides with systems of control. The pyramid's mystery shows us that such collisions may have happened long before, in ways we are only beginning to uncover. And so, we are left with a tantalizing question. Did Tesla rediscover the secrets of the pyramids? Or did the pyramids themselves preserve a blueprint for a science that humanity will, someday, reclaim? If the Great Pyramid was more than a tomb or even a machine, then its geometry may hold the key to understanding its true purpose. Every line, angle, and ratio seems deliberate, echoing cosmic patterns that connect Earth to the heavens. This is not simply architecture. It is sacred geometry, a language of numbers and shapes designed to harmonize with the universe itself. The pyramid's base forms a near-perfect square. Each side measures approximately 755 feet, differing by only a few inches. The alignment is astonishing. The sides point almost exactly to the cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west, with a deviation of just 3/60 ths of a degree. Ancient Egyptians had no magnetic compasses. The precision required careful observation of stars and the sun over decades. This suggests a deep understanding of astronomy and mathematics. But geometry goes far beyond cardinal alignment. The pyramid encodes key mathematical constants in its design. The ratio of its perimeter to its height approximates 2 pi, or the relationship between a circle's circumference and diameter. The slope of its sides closely mirrors the golden ratio, phi, long associated with harmony, proportion, and natural beauty. These are not coincidences. They are deliberate calculations embedded in stone, hinting that the pyramid is a map, not just of the Earth, but of universal order. Inside, sacred geometry continues. The king's chamber is precisely proportioned. Its length, width, and height correspond to harmonic ratios that produce resonant frequencies. Acoustic researchers have measured these frequencies and found that the chamber amplifies specific tones in the human vocal range. Some suggest that chanting or even ambient vibrations could have activated the chamber, producing effects on consciousness, perception, or energy flow. The Queen's Chamber is equally mysterious. Its shafts align with stars of immense symbolic importance. The southern shaft points to Orion, representing Osiris, while the northern shaft targets Thuban, the pole star of the era. Sirius, the goddess Isis, is aligned through the other shaft. These alignments are not random. They demonstrate that the pyramid is a terrestrial reflection of the celestial order, a machine tuned to the cosmos. Even the Giza plateau itself seems deliberately chosen. The location is at the approximate center of the Earth's landmass, the heart of the planet. Water tables, subterranean limestone channels, and the plateau's natural contours suggest an awareness of resonance and energy flow. The pyramid may not only be a receiver of cosmic forces, but also a transmitter, broadcasting harmonics into the Earth's energy grid. The concept of cosmic resonance is not new. Ancient cultures across the world recognize the connection between geometry, frequency, and the heavens. The Mayans built pyramids that aligned with solstices and equinoxes. Stonehenge marks the midsummer sunrise and winter solstice. Even the ancient Chinese and Indians encoded celestial knowledge into their temples. Yet the Great Pyramid surpasses all of these examples in scale, precision, and intent. Some theorists argue that the pyramid's geometry was designed to channel not just energy, but consciousness. Vibrations traveling through the quartz-rich granite could have created harmonic effects on the brain, altering perception, inducing visions, or even facilitating what we now call out-of-body experiences. Initiates might have used these chambers to tune their minds to the cosmos, transcending ordinary human limitations. Mathematically, the pyramid also encodes knowledge of the Earth itself. Its dimensions, when scaled, approximate the Earth's circumference, the distance to the Moon, and even ratios that correspond to the solar system. Could this have been a way to store astronomical knowledge in stone? A permanent library, hidden in plain sight, bridging mathematics, astronomy, and spiritual understanding? The interplay of geometry and cosmic alignment suggests one fundamental truth. The Great Pyramid was designed to be a bridge between earth and sky, matter and energy, human consciousness and cosmic order. Its builders understood forces that modern science is only beginning to explore: resonance, piezoelectricity, celestial cycles, and the subtle energies of the planet. Sacred geometry also frames the pyramid as a transmitter of symbolic meaning. Each ratio, each alignment, encodes messages that would only be understood by those initiated into the esoteric knowledge of the age. For ordinary observers, it is a monument. For the initiated, it is a tool, a map, a key to the universe itself. Some suggest that these geometric principles also hint at a universal language, one that transcends culture and time. Across civilizations, certain patterns recur: spirals, circles, triangles, harmonic ratios. The pyramid embodies these principles at a monumental scale, suggesting that its purpose was as much about communication between humans, the Earth, and the cosmos, as it was about function. And so, sacred geometry and cosmic resonance converge in the Great Pyramid. It is a machine, a temple, a transmitter, and a symbol. Its stones are not just quarried rock. They are notes in a symphony tuned to the frequencies of the universe. When we enter its corridors, walk its halls, or measure its angles, we are not merely observing ancient construction. We are engaging with a system of knowledge, a consciousness embedded in stone. This is the stage on which the next layer of mystery emerges. For if the pyramid was designed to resonate with the cosmos, could it have been intended to interact with forces beyond our understanding? And if so, what were the ancients hoping to achieve by aligning matter, energy, and consciousness in this way? The pyramid, in essence, is both a monument and an instrument, a silent symphony played across millennia, waiting for humanity to understand its melody. And as we delve further, we will explore the rituals, symbols, and hidden chambers that suggest it may also have served as a spiritual initiatory system where human consciousness itself became part of the machine. The Great Pyramid is often described as a silent, immovable monument, a structure frozen in time. Yet the deeper we explore its chambers, corridors, and alignments, the more it becomes clear that it was built not merely to exist, but to be experienced. Its design suggests that it was intended for interaction, for human presence to activate its purpose. And this brings us to one of the most intriguing aspects of the pyramid, its role in initiation and ritual. Ancient Egyptian culture was profoundly concerned with transformation. The journey from life to death, from human to divine, was carefully codified in myths, rituals, and sacred architecture. In traditional tombs, hieroglyphs, spells, and amulets guided the soul through the afterlife. But the Great Pyramid departs from these conventions entirely. Its chambers are largely empty, its walls bare, and its passageways unmarked. Yet the geometry, resonance, and alignment suggest it was a site of direct experiential transformation. Consider the act of entering the pyramid. The ascent through the Grand Gallery, with its soaring, corbelled walls, creates a sense of anticipation and compression simultaneously, a psychological effect of moving through a resonant corridor. Some researchers suggest that the gallery's precise proportions amplify sound, enabling low-frequency tones to resonate through the body. Ancient initiates may have used chanting, musical instruments, or even subtle footfalls to activate vibrations within the stone itself, producing sensations ranging from altered perception to euphoria. The king's chamber, with its quartz-rich granite, becomes the climax of this journey. Entering the chamber is like stepping into a giant tuning fork. Researchers have demonstrated that when sound is introduced, the chamber resonates at specific frequencies that interact with the human nervous system. Some frequencies appear to align with the alpha and theta brainwave patterns, which are associated with deep meditation, trance, and heightened awareness. Could the pyramid have been designed to elevate consciousness, not preserve body? The Queen's Chamber, with its sealed shafts aimed at specific stars, may have served as an observational or meditative space. By aligning oneself within these channels, initiates would symbolically and energetically connect with the heavens, experiencing a sense of cosmic harmony. Ancient texts hint at secret knowledge revealed only to the initiated, knowledge encoded in stars, geometry, and vibration. The pyramid seems built to be a vessel for such revelations. Rituals may have included the use of water, fire, and sound. Subterranean chambers could channel natural water flow, generating pressure or vibration that further activated the stone's resonant properties. Torchlight flickering on the walls would cast shadows that move in alignment with celestial cycles, turning geometry into living, dynamic patterns. The pyramid itself became an instrument, orchestrating light, sound, and movement into a ritual experience. Initiation in this context is not mere superstition. It is interaction with a system. The pyramid is not a passive tomb. It is an active machine that requires participation. Ancient initiates may have been trained to walk its corridors in specific sequences, chant in certain tones, and meditate within particular chambers at precise times. By doing so, they could align their own consciousness with the energies of the pyramid, amplifying the effects of its geometric and acoustic design. Historical parallels reinforce this possibility. Across the ancient world, sacred architecture served as initiatory instruments. In Greece, the Eleusinian mysteries required participants to traverse underground chambers and experience transformative rites. In India, Vedic temples used geometric alignment and sound to elevate consciousness during rituals. In Mesoamerica, pyramids were oriented to solstices and planetary events, with initiates performing ceremonies timed to cosmic cycles. The Great Pyramid fits perfectly within this global pattern, yet it surpasses all others in scale, precision, and sophistication. Moreover, initiation in the pyramid may have been tied to the cycles of life and death symbolized by Osiris and Isis. The king's chamber, aligned with Orion and Thuban, embodies Osiris, the principle of death and rebirth. The queen's chamber, pointing to Sirius, embodies Isis, the force of fertility, regeneration, and cosmic order. The initiate's journey through the pyramid could symbolically enact the union of these forces, mirroring the eternal cycles of the cosmos and human life. Psychologically, the pyramid's design may have induced profound effects. Darkness, echoing corridors, resonant frequencies, and precise spatial proportions create sensory conditions that amplify focus, intuition, and altered states. Modern experiments in similar geometrically perfect spaces have shown that human perception, heart rate, and even brainwave patterns can shift dramatically in response to resonance and architectural precision. Imagine the impact on an initiate walking through the Great Pyramid in ancient times, guided by priests who understood its full potential. This ritualistic function also reframes the pyramid's empty chambers. The lack of decoration is not evidence of incompleteness, but intentional design. Stripped of distractions, the chambers become vessels for resonance, light, and consciousness. The initiate experiences the pyramid directly, without intermediary symbols, making the journey inward as important as the physical structure itself. The initiation process may have extended beyond the pyramid itself. Alignment with stars, solstices, and celestial events suggests that the pyramid's function was timed and coordinated with cosmic cycles. Initiates entering the pyramid at specific times could harness amplified energies, experiencing the confluence of Earth, cosmos, and consciousness in a transformative ritual. Ultimately, this perspective challenges everything we thought we knew. The Great Pyramid is not merely a tomb or a machine. It is a multidimensional instrument of transformation. Its chambers, shafts, and geometry were designed to guide human consciousness through initiation, aligning body, mind, and spirit with cosmic order. It is a system of knowledge embedded in stone, waiting for those who are willing to experience it. And as we move to the next section, we confront the question of secrets preserved and suppressed. If the pyramid was an instrument of initiation and energy, why has this knowledge largely disappeared? Were these methods lost to time, hidden by priesthoods, or deliberately suppressed by later civilizations? The story of the pyramid is not only one of ancient technology and sacred geometry. It is a story of secrecy, control, and the hidden legacy of human potential. The Great Pyramid stands as a silent witness to ancient brilliance, but it also serves as a reminder of knowledge that was lost, hidden, or deliberately suppressed. For centuries, scholars, explorers, and conspiracy theorists alike have hinted at a hidden truth. The pyramid's purpose was never meant for public understanding. Its function as a machine, a transmitter, or an initiatory instrument may have been known only to a select few, guarded by priesthoods, secret societies, and ruling elites. Ancient Egypt was not a democracy of knowledge. Access to sacred wisdom was tightly controlled. The pharaoh and his priesthood were intermediaries between the people and the gods. Temples and pyramids were built not just as physical structures, but as repositories of hidden knowledge. Only those initiated into the mysteries could understand the complex interplay of geometry, resonance, and celestial alignment encoded in the stone. Ordinary citizens were forbidden from entering these sacred spaces. Even today, most of the inner workings of the pyramid remain inaccessible to the public, with entire chambers still unexcavated or blocked by massive stone barriers. Historical records suggest that some knowledge of pyramid construction and function was transmitted orally, hidden in allegories and myths. Egyptian texts speak of Ma'at, the principle of cosmic order, and Heka, the power of magic or energy. These concepts were deeply intertwined with architecture and astronomy. Could it be that the pyramids themselves were instruments of Heka, designed to harness and focus natural energies, yet kept secret from the uninitiated? The suppression of knowledge did not end with the fall of the pharaohs. As Egypt was conquered and its treasures looted, much of its sacred wisdom disappeared. Greek and Roman writers recorded fragmented stories of Egyptian temples and initiatory rites, often misinterpreting or dismissing them. During the Renaissance, European scholars rediscovered texts and symbols, but access to true understanding remained limited, confined to secret societies such as the Freemasons, Rosicrucians, and other esoteric orders who claimed to preserve fragments of ancient wisdom. Even in modern times, there are hints of deliberate concealment. Explorers and archaeologists of the 19th and early 20th centuries were often restricted in what they could document, either by colonial authorities or local rulers. Some accounts describe forbidden chambers, artifacts removed or hidden, and unusual warnings about disturbing certain areas. The Great Pyramid, it seems, has always been surrounded by secrecy, as if the knowledge it contains were too powerful, too dangerous, or too transformative to be widely known. Scholars and engineers who have studied the pyramid often report frustration at incomplete records and unexplained anomalies. For example, the Grand Gallery's construction, the precise alignment of the shafts, and the choice of materials cannot be fully explained using conventional Egyptological methods. Some of the most striking features appear to have been intentionally obscured or overlooked by early researchers, perhaps because acknowledging their function would challenge mainstream historical narratives. There are also theories that point to lost technologies. Could the ancients have had access to methods of energy manipulation, mechanical engineering, or acoustic resonance that rival or surpass our own? Christopher Dunn, among others, argues that the precision of the stone cutting and the functional design of the chambers could not have been achieved with Bronze Age tools alone. If so, this knowledge may have been deliberately suppressed, either lost in cataclysms or deliberately hidden to prevent misuse. The story of Nikola Tesla provides a modern parallel. Tesla rediscovered principles that appear astonishingly similar to those encoded in the pyramid. His experiments with wireless energy were shut down, his tower dismantled, and his patents largely ignored. In both cases, ancient Egypt and early 20th century science, we see visionary work either forgotten, obscured, or actively suppressed by those who sought to maintain control over knowledge and power. Even today, governments and researchers who investigate anomalous properties of the pyramids face skepticism or censorship. Scientific studies on acoustic resonance, electromagnetic anomalies, and unexplained structural precision often struggle to gain mainstream acceptance. Yet the anomalies persist. They are measurable, repeatable, and undeniable. The suppression of knowledge is not merely an academic concern. It is a human story. Throughout history, civilizations have hidden their most advanced discoveries, fearing misuse, misunderstanding, or social upheaval. In this light, the Great Pyramid is not just a relic. It is a guardian of forbidden knowledge, encoded in geometry, resonance, and celestial alignment, waiting for those with the insight and courage to understand it. The lost knowledge also extends to initiation and spiritual mastery. The pyramid's chambers, shafts, and resonance may have provided methods for consciousness expansion, energy manipulation, and alignment with the cosmos. But this knowledge, like much else, was likely reserved for the few, codified in allegory, myth, and secret ritual. When the priesthoods fell or were co-opted by conquering forces, this wisdom disappeared into obscurity, leaving only the stone monuments as hints of a far greater understanding. And so, the pyramid challenges us not only to marvel at its construction, but also to consider what has been lost. If it was indeed a machine, a transmitter, and a temple of consciousness, then humanity's current understanding represents only a fraction of its original potential. It stands as both a monument to ingenuity and a warning. Knowledge, when restricted, can be hidden for millennia, leaving future generations to puzzle over mysteries their ancestors once comprehended. The suppression of knowledge also raises a tantalizing possibility that the Great Pyramid may still contain secrets waiting to be rediscovered. Hidden chambers, blocked shafts, and undetected resonances may yet reveal themselves. Modern technology, ground-penetrating radar, 3D mapping, and acoustic measurement is beginning to unveil these hidden features, offering glimpses of what ancient initiates may have experienced firsthand. Ultimately, Section 10 forces us to ask, if the pyramid was a machine, a transmitter, and a spiritual instrument. Why was this knowledge hidden? Was it the responsibility of a priesthood to safeguard dangerous knowledge? Did conquering civilizations intentionally erase or misrepresent the function of these monuments? Or is it simply that human understanding has yet to catch up with the sophistication of our ancestors? The Great Pyramid, it seems, is a bridge across time, not just connecting earth and sky, but connecting the past, present, and the potential future of human understanding. Its secrets, suppressed for millennia, challenge our assumptions about what ancient civilizations were capable of and what might still be possible if we rediscover their methods. The Great Pyramid of Giza, silent for millennia, continues to captivate scientists, mystics, and curious minds alike. But its potential is not just historical or symbolic. It may hold lessons and applications for the modern world. If the pyramid was designed as a machine of energy, resonance, and consciousness, then understanding its principles could revolutionize our approach to physics, architecture, and even human potential. Modern research has begun to explore these possibilities. Acoustic engineers, physicists, and archaeologists have discovered that the pyramid's chambers resonate in ways that amplify sound and vibration. Instruments placed in the king's chamber pick up harmonic frequencies that are remarkably consistent with what ancient sources describe as sacred tones. Some researchers have even experimented with reproducing these frequencies outside the pyramid, noting subtle effects on water, plant growth, and human brainwave patterns. The implications are profound. The pyramid may have been a system for harmonizing natural energy flows, not only for spiritual purposes, but for practical ones as well. The concept of energy generation is also being revisited. While mainstream science dismisses the idea that the pyramid could produce electricity, the combination of piezoelectric granite, subterranean water channels, and acoustic resonance suggests that the builders were at least aware of natural energy manipulation. Could the pyramids have functioned as ancient power plants, harnessing the Earth's vibrational frequencies to generate usable energy? If so, the technological sophistication of these ancient structures surpasses anything previously imagined. Beyond energy, the pyramid may offer insights into human consciousness. Psychologists and neuroscientists have begun studying pyramid-shaped environments, noting changes in meditation depth, stress reduction, and cognitive clarity. Experiments placing participants under pyramid-like structures or in geometrically precise chambers reveal increased alpha and theta brainwave activity, mirroring the proposed effects of the king's chamber resonance. While still preliminary, these findings suggest that the ancient builders may have understood subtle effects on a human mind that modern science is only now beginning to quantify. Some researchers argue that the pyramid's knowledge could have implications for sustainable architecture and environmental design. Its precise alignment with cardinal points, incorporation of natural airflow through shafts, and use of materials with specific physical properties demonstrate an understanding of passive energy systems. If applied today, these principles could inspire buildings that harness natural energy, optimize human well-being, and integrate harmoniously with the Earth's natural frequencies. There is also a philosophical dimension to rediscovering pyramid knowledge. The ancient Egyptians encoded cosmic principles into stone, suggesting that technology, spirituality, and environmental harmony were inseparable. For modern humanity, this offers a model of holistic thinking, that science, consciousness, and ethics must work together. The pyramid, in this sense, is not just a relic. It is a blueprint for a civilization in balance with itself and the universe. Even more provocative are the implications for energy independence and global power. Tesla envisioned a world where energy was free and accessible, much like the potential function of the pyramids as a natural transmitter. If ancient techniques could be understood and adapted, humanity might tap into previously unimagined sources of energy, sustainable, clean, and globally available. The pyramid, therefore, may hold keys not only to understanding our past, but to shaping our future. Yet the journey is not without obstacles. Much of the pyramid's true function remains concealed, either by the passage of time, physical barriers, or historical suppression. Researchers must navigate incomplete data, damaged structures, and entrenched skepticism. Many academic institutions remain hesitant to explore these theories in depth, fearing reputational risk or ridicule. But independent scientists, engineers, and esoteric researchers continue to probe, using modern technology like ground-penetrating radar, laser scanning, and resonance mapping to uncover hidden chambers, anomalies, and structural patterns. The potential rewards are enormous. Imagine if the principles encoded in the pyramid could be applied to energy generation, communication, or human consciousness enhancement. Imagine a world where architecture, physics, and spirituality work in harmony to produce more than utility, where they create environments that foster wisdom, health, and creativity. The Great Pyramid, once thought to be a tomb, could serve as a guidepost for this transformation. Furthermore, rediscovering the pyramid's function may shift our understanding of history itself. For centuries, we have assumed ancient civilizations were primitive, limited by the technology of their age. But if the pyramid truly embodies advanced engineering, energy systems, and consciousness work, then our assumptions about human potential and the transmission of knowledge across time must be reconsidered. Ancient Egypt may not have been an isolated anomaly. It could be part of a broader lineage of civilizations that understood the integration of energy, technology, and mind. In practical terms, the modern implications are already visible. Experiments with pyramidal structures continue to reveal effects on plants, water, and human physiology. Architectural projects inspired by sacred geometry are emerging worldwide, emphasizing sustainability, resonance, and harmony with natural forces. And as research into quantum physics and energy fields advances, the pyramid's principles may find new applications in communication, energy distribution, and even consciousness studies. Ultimately, Section 11 reminds us that the Great Pyramid is not merely an artifact of the past. It is a living legacy. Its lessons are encoded in stone, vibration, and alignment, awaiting rediscovery. The machine, the temple, and the initiatory chamber all converge to offer knowledge that transcends time. For those willing to explore, measure, and experiment, the pyramid is no longer just a monument. It is a guide to unlocking the hidden potential of our world. As we move into the next section, the narrative builds toward revelation. Having examined the pyramid as a machine, a spiritual instrument, and a suppressed repository of knowledge, we are now ready to confront the culmination, the ultimate purpose of the pyramids, and the profound implications they hold for humanity, past, present, and future. After centuries of mystery, exploration, and speculation, we arrive at the most compelling question of all. What were the pyramids really built to do? Were they tombs, as mainstream history claims, or something far more extraordinary? Machines, initiatory chambers, transmitters, and instruments of cosmic resonance? Section 12 seeks to synthesize the evidence, weaving together architecture, astronomy, resonance, and human consciousness into a coherent vision of the pyramid's ultimate purpose. First, let's revisit the internal design. The king's chamber, constructed from quartz-rich granite, resonates at specific harmonic frequencies. The grand gallery amplifies vibration. The shafts align with significant stars, while subterranean water channels suggest energy flow. All of these features, when examined together, paint a picture of an intricate system built to interact with both the Earth and the cosmos. This is not the work of simple tomb construction. This is the work of engineers, mathematicians, and mystics collaborating to encode advanced knowledge into stone. Second, consider the symbolism. The pyramid aligns with Orion, Sirius, and other celestial bodies central to Egyptian mythology. Osiris and Isis, representing cycles of death and rebirth, govern the king's and queen's chambers. The geometric ratios reflect not only aesthetic harmony, but mathematical constants that resonate with Earth's dimensions and celestial distances. The pyramid is, in essence, a mirror of the universe, a model of cosmic order embedded in stone, waiting to transmit its message to those who can interpret it. Third, the human element. Initiates walking through the pyramid would encounter a carefully designed journey, ascending corridors, resonant chambers, and sight lines aligned with stars. They were not passive observers, but participants in a system engineered to alter consciousness, amplify perception, and harmonize body and mind with natural and cosmic forces. The pyramid, in effect, is a bridge connecting the physical, the energetic, and the spiritual. When we combine these elements, a striking conclusion emerges. The pyramids were built as multifunctional instruments. They were simultaneously energy machines, harnessing natural vibrations, water pressure, and piezoelectric properties of stone to generate or transmit energy. Initiatory chambers, guiding human consciousness through transformative experiences via resonance, light, and geometric alignment. Celestial observatories, mapping the stars, aligning with cosmic cycles, and encoding astronomical knowledge for both practical and spiritual purposes. Records of knowledge, embedding mathematics, sacred geometry, and engineering mastery into stone, preserving a system of wisdom for future generations. The intersection of these functions points toward a civilization with advanced understanding of energy, sound, astronomy, and consciousness, a civilization capable of bridging technology and spirituality in ways modern humans are only beginning to explore. Some theorists go even further. Could the pyramids have been designed as a global communication system? Imagine a network of pyramids, obelisks, and temples across Egypt and beyond, all tuned to resonate with each other, transmitting energy or information through Earth's crust and atmosphere. While this may sound fantastical, experiments in resonance, piezoelectricity, and quantum entanglement suggest that ancient engineers may have been manipulating natural systems in ways previously considered impossible. Tesla's work provides a tantalizing modern parallel. Just as he attempted to transmit wireless energy using the Wardenclyffe Tower, the pyramid may have been an ancient prototype of planetary-scale energy systems. The difference is that the pyramid was designed to last millennia, harmonizing with natural forces rather than relying on human-built infrastructure that decays with time. The spiritual dimension cannot be overlooked. For the initiates, the pyramid was not merely a machine. It was a temple of transformation. It allowed humans to interact directly with universal forces, experience altered states of consciousness, and achieve alignment with cosmic rhythms. The design, resonance, and alignment suggest that the pyramid was intended to awaken latent human potential, connecting the individual to the larger universe. This ultimate revelation reframes our understanding of human history. What if the ancient Egyptians were custodians of knowledge that could have transformed civilization? What if the suppression of this wisdom, through conquest, religious orthodoxy, or simply the passage of time, delayed humanity's access to principles of free energy, consciousness expansion, and cosmic harmony? The Great Pyramid stands as both a monument to ingenuity and a silent record of what was once possible. In cinematic terms, imagine the pyramid not as a static monument, but as a living system, energy flowing through hidden channels, harmonic frequencies vibrating through massive granite chambers, and human consciousness interfacing with the cosmos. Every stone, every shaft, every chamber is part of an intricate symphony designed to activate, empower, and elevate. This is the revelation that mainstream history often ignores. The pyramids were not passive tombs. They were active instruments of transformation. Even more profound is the idea that this knowledge was encoded intentionally to endure. The materials chosen, granite, limestone, and quartz, have survived thousands of years. The geometry resists decay. The alignments with stars remain accurate despite the precession of the Earth's axis. This suggests a long-term vision, that one day humanity would rediscover the pyramid's secrets and be ready to apply its principles. Section 12, therefore, brings us to the crux of the story. The Great Pyramid of Giza was designed to be more than a tomb. It was a machine, a temple, a transmitter, and a school of consciousness all in one. It embodies ancient wisdom that integrates technology, energy, astronomy, and human potential, a blueprint for interacting with the forces of the universe. The final question lingers. Are we ready to decode it? The clues are still there, etched in stone and aligned with the cosmos. Modern science and spiritual exploration may yet uncover how to harness the pyramid's full potential. Perhaps, as Tesla rediscovered some of its principles in our time, we too are approaching the threshold of understanding the pyramid as it was always intended, a bridge between Earth, mind, and the cosmos. Even after centuries of study, the Great Pyramid continues to guard secrets that defy explanation. Ground-penetrating radar, muon imaging, and other modern technologies have revealed anomalies that hint at hidden chambers, voids, and passageways yet to be explored. These discoveries reinforce the idea that the pyramid was not merely a tomb, but a sophisticated system still waiting to reveal its full purpose. In 2017, researchers using muon tomography, a technique that measures subatomic particles passing through solid matter, announced the discovery of a large void above the Grand Gallery. Nicknamed the Big Void, this empty space stretches at least 30 meters in length, and its exact function remains a mystery. Was it a structural feature, a storage chamber, or a critical part of the pyramid's energy system? The lack of debris or artifacts suggests intentional design, not an unfinished construction. Other anomalies have been detected as well. Small shafts within the king's and queen's chambers, long thought to be symbolic or ceremonial, appear to extend far beyond what was previously mapped. Some lead toward the northern and southern horizons, aligned with stars or solstice points, while others terminate behind massive stone doors, hinting at additional chambers still inaccessible to researchers. Could these hidden spaces have housed tools, energy conduits, or initiatory chambers meant only for the select few? The notion of undiscovered chambers also resonates with historical accounts. Ancient writers, including Herodotus, mentioned hidden rooms and secret passages within Egypt's monuments, many of which were later sealed or forgotten. Local legends and oral histories have long hinted at areas of the pyramid that could not be entered, warning explorers that certain doors should remain untouched. The combination of modern imaging and historical accounts suggests that these warnings were not mere superstition. They may have protected genuinely extraordinary spaces. One intriguing theory involves the air shafts of the pyramid. Previously thought to serve ventilation purposes, some researchers now propose that these narrow channels were designed to focus energy or resonance into hidden chambers. If the pyramid functions as a machine, these shafts could be part of a sophisticated energy system, channeling vibrational frequencies from the Grand Gallery and King's Chamber to yet undiscovered nodes. The Big Void may itself be a resonant chamber, amplifying energy in ways still beyond our comprehension. Even the Great Pyramid's foundation hints at concealed features. The underlying bedrock is carved with channels and depressions that may have guided water flow or enhanced structural resonance. Archaeologists have noted cavities and tunnels beneath the pyramid that are partially filled or hidden, suggesting that the full blueprint of the structure extends well beyond what is visible above ground. This subterranean network could be integral to the pyramid's function as a machine, temple, or transmitter. Speculation about these hidden chambers is further fueled by the pyramid's perfect proportions. Its dimensions, alignments, and ratios leave little room for error. Anomalies are unlikely to be accidental. If structural voids exist, they may serve functional purposes, resonant cavities, energy storage, or initiatory chambers designed for specific effects on sound, vibration, or consciousness. Some esoteric theories suggest that these undiscovered spaces could even contain artifacts or tools that hint at lost technologies. Ancient devices, copper fittings, crystal lenses, or instruments designed to manipulate energy might have been stored or activated in these secret chambers. While mainstream archaeology dismisses such ideas, the combination of unexplained voids, acoustic anomalies, and alignment precision leaves open the possibility that hidden chambers were intended for purposes far beyond simple storage. The cinematic allure of these undiscovered spaces cannot be overstated. Imagine walking through a sealed corridor, carved with exacting precision, the air vibrating with frequencies designed to harmonize the body and mind. Beyond a stone door lies a chamber whose walls are precisely proportioned to amplify sound and energy, awaiting an initiate to awaken its latent potential. This vision transforms the pyramid from a static monument into a dynamic system, alive with purpose and mystery. Modern exploration is only beginning to scratch the surface. Non-invasive technologies like 3D imaging, muon detection, and laser scanning provide unprecedented insight, yet the full interior remains largely unexplored. Researchers are cautious, mindful of preserving the structure while probing for evidence. Each anomaly detected fuels both scientific curiosity and public fascination, suggesting that the pyramid has more secrets yet to reveal, potentially validating theories of energy machines, initiation chambers, and cosmic alignment. The existence of hidden chambers also raises philosophical questions. If the pyramid contains undiscovered spaces, what was their intended function, and why were they concealed? Were they restricted to the elite, reserved for initiates, or meant to remain a secret until humanity reached a certain stage of understanding? The intentional concealment of these areas aligns with centuries of suppressed knowledge, connecting hidden chambers to the broader narrative of lost wisdom, advanced technology, and spiritual mastery. Finally, these mysteries emphasize the pyramid's enduring enigma. It is a monument that both reveals and hides simultaneously. Each discovery opens new questions, suggesting that the ancient Egyptians designed the pyramid not only to endure physically, but also to challenge future generations to decode its purpose. The hidden chambers are more than architectural curiosities. They're the keys to understanding the full scope of the pyramid's function, bridging past knowledge and modern exploration. As we prepare to move into the next section, we see how these undiscovered secrets build suspense, teasing the ultimate revelation, that the pyramids were more than monuments, machines, or temples. They were active systems of knowledge and energy designed to connect humans with the cosmos, a function that may still be waiting for rediscovery. The Great Pyramid of Giza is not merely a solitary monument. It exists within a vast cosmic context, aligned meticulously with celestial bodies and Earth's natural rhythms. Ancient builders seem to have understood cycles far beyond human lifespans. The precession of the equinoxes, solar and lunar cycles, and planetary movements. Section 14 explores the idea that the pyramid was designed as a node in a planetary network, bridging terrestrial energy with cosmic forces. The pyramid's orientation is extraordinary. Its sides are aligned almost perfectly to the cardinal points, with deviations as small as 3/10 of a degree. This precise alignment allows the structure to interact with the movement of celestial bodies over millennia. The shafts of the king's and queen's chambers point towards stars of deep significance: Orion, Thuban, and Sirius. These were not arbitrary choices. They reflect a sophisticated understanding of cosmic cycles and their symbolic representation in Egyptian mythology. Orion, associated with Osiris, represents death and rebirth, while Sirius, the star of Isis, symbolizes fertility, renewal, and cosmic order. Aligning the pyramid with these stars effectively synchronized the monument with celestial rhythms. The pyramid, in this sense, becomes a cosmic antenna, attuned to universal cycles, perhaps designed to channel energy or information between Earth and the heavens. The concept of the pyramid as a planetary node extends beyond Egypt. Ancient civilizations around the world built pyramids, megaliths, and observatories that align with solstices, equinoxes, and star clusters. Stonehenge marks the midsummer sunrise. Teotihuacan's pyramids align with certain constellations. The Nabta Aplia site in southern Egypt predates the Great Pyramid and is aligned with Orion's belt. This suggests that humanity has long understood a connection between sacred architecture and cosmic cycles, a connection the Great Pyramid exemplifies at unparalleled scale and precision. Furthermore, the pyramid's dimensions appear to encode astronomical knowledge. Its base-to-height ratio approximates 2 pi, while its internal proportions correspond to harmonic ratios observed in planetary distances and orbital mechanics. Some researchers argue that these ratios encode the dimensions of Earth, the Moon, and even the solar system. If accurate, this implies that the pyramid was not merely a terrestrial construction, but a cosmic map, embedding universal principles into stone. Beyond alignment and proportion, the pyramid may interact with Earth's energy grid. Ley lines, or hypothetical energy channels crisscrossing the planet, have been noted at locations of sacred sites, including the Giza Plateau. Ancient builders may have placed the pyramid at a strategic point to maximize interaction with these natural currents, using the structure to focus, transmit, or amplify energy on a planetary scale. This aligns with theories that the pyramid functioned as both a local machine and a global energy node. Resonance plays a crucial role in this planetary network. Acoustic and vibrational properties of the pyramid may have been designed to synchronize with Earth's natural frequencies, creating harmonic amplification. The King's Chamber, in particular, exhibits resonances that match alpha and theta brainwave frequencies, while the structure as a whole may harmonize with the Schumann resonance, the Earth's natural electromagnetic vibration. By tuning into these frequencies, the pyramid could theoretically transmit energy, information, or even consciousness patterns across distances, connecting Earth with its celestial counterparts. The pyramid also appears to encode temporal cycles. Its structure may reflect the 25,920-year precessional cycle of the Earth's axis. This awareness of deep time suggests that the builders intended the pyramid to function across generations, preserving knowledge for a future civilization capable of understanding its principles. Unlike human lifespans, the pyramid's construction endures, ensuring continuity of alignment, resonance, and function across millennia. Some esoteric scholars propose that the pyramid's positioning and resonance were part of a planetary network designed to stabilize or amplify life energy on Earth. By acting as a node within this global system, the pyramid could influence human consciousness, planetary magnetism, or even environmental cycles. While mainstream science remains skeptical, measurable anomalies in electromagnetic fields and acoustics around the pyramid provide tantalizing hints that such possibilities cannot be entirely dismissed. The cinematic vision of the pyramid as a planetary node is staggering. Imagine energy flowing through the Earth, resonating through subterranean channels, amplified by perfectly cut granite chambers, and directed toward cosmic targets in the heavens. The pyramid is not static. It is dynamic, interacting with cycles of time, celestial patterns, and planetary resonance. Each stone, each chamber, each alignment contributes to a planetary symphony orchestrated thousands of years ago. In essence, the Great Pyramid may have been the central hub of an ancient planetary grid, integrating energy, consciousness, and cosmic awareness. Its design allows it to function on multiple scales, as a personal initiatory instrument, a transmitter of energy, a cosmic observatory, and a node in a global system. The ancients appear to have understood principles that we are only now beginning to explore with modern science: resonance, harmonic alignment, and the interconnectedness of Earth, mind, and cosmos. This understanding naturally leads to a profound question. If the pyramid was designed to interact with cosmic cycles and planetary energy, what message or function was intended for humanity? Were the ancient builders attempting to preserve knowledge for a future age, when humans would again be capable of harmonizing with universal forces? Or was the pyramid itself a conscious system, designed to maintain balance and resonance on Earth, regardless of human understanding? Section 14 closes by emphasizing the scale and scope of the pyramid's purpose. It is no longer merely a tomb, a machine, or a temple. It is a planetary instrument, harmonized with cosmic cycles, designed to resonate through millennia. And as we move toward the next section, the story will begin to tie these threads together, showing how the pyramid's hidden technology, sacred geometry, initiatory function, and planetary resonance converge in ways that challenge everything we think we know about human history and potential. The Great Pyramid of Giza is not just a physical structure, it is a catalyst for human consciousness. Ancient builders appear to have understood that geometry, vibration, and resonance could directly influence the mind and body, transforming the way initiates perceive themselves and the cosmos. Section 15 explores the pyramid's potential effects on human consciousness and its implications for modern spirituality and personal transformation. Centuries of anecdotal accounts suggest that pyramid-shaped spaces induce unusual mental and physical effects. Travelers, mystics, and researchers report enhanced meditation, heightened focus, unusual dream states, and even altered perception of time when within or beneath pyramid structures. Modern experiments with scaled pyramid models have demonstrated changes in plant growth, water crystallization patterns, and subtle shifts in electromagnetic fields, effects that hint at an underlying influence on life energy. Acoustic resonance plays a central role. The King's Chamber, with its granite walls and precise proportions, resonates at frequencies that correspond to alpha and theta brainwave activity. These brainwaves are associated with deep relaxation, meditative states, creativity, and enhanced intuition. Initiates may have chanted, drummed, or played instruments to activate these resonances, effectively using the pyramid as a neural amplifier. The stone itself becomes a tool for consciousness expansion, a bridge between the physical and the mental. The pyramid's geometry also contributes to this effect. Sacred ratios, harmonic proportions, and cardinal alignments are not arbitrary. They create spatial conditions that focus energy and perception. As an individual moves through the corridors, ascends the grand gallery, or sits within the King's Chamber, subtle vibrational shifts may influence their nervous system. The experience can induce a sense of connection to larger cosmic patterns, a perception of unity with Earth, stars, and universal order. Historical texts suggest that ancient Egyptian rituals were designed to harness these effects. Initiates may have undertaken carefully timed journeys through the pyramid, aligned with specific celestial events such as solstices or the heliacal rising of Sirius. The combination of movement, sound, light, and alignment would create a multi-sensory experience designed to heighten perception, evoke spiritual insight, and facilitate transformation. In this sense, the pyramid was a laboratory for consciousness, where geometry and ritual combined to expand awareness. Modern parallels exist in contemporary neuroscience and meditation studies. Techniques such as sound therapy, binaural beats, and sensory deprivation have been shown to influence brainwave patterns and induce altered states. The pyramid may have achieved similar effects millennia ago, using stone, geometry, and resonance instead of technology. By understanding these principles, humans today can begin to explore ancient methods of cognitive and spiritual enhancement. Psychologists and parapsychologists have also noted a phenomenon they call the pyramid effect, in which pyramid-shaped structures seem to concentrate energy fields and influence perception. Experiments with small-scale pyramids show changes in human electrodermal activity, heart rate variability, and mental focus. While controversial, these findings hint at mechanisms the ancient Egyptians may have intentionally designed, a harmonization of mind and matter, linking consciousness directly to the structure itself. The pyramid's influence may extend even beyond the individual. Collective rituals, involving multiple initiates moving through the chambers or chanting in unison, could amplify effects on a group scale. The resonance of the structure, combined with synchronized human activity, could create a feedback loop of energy and consciousness, producing shared altered states, visions, or insights. In this way, the pyramid serves as both a personal and communal instrument of transformation. Spiritual traditions across the world support this connection between structure and consciousness. Indian temples, Tibetan stupas, and Mesoamerican pyramids all incorporate geometry, alignment, and sacred sound to facilitate meditation and transcendence. The Great Pyramid, however, stands apart in its scale, precision, and integration of multiple modalities: acoustics, geometry, resonance, and astronomy, into a single, holistic system. It is simultaneously an architectural wonder, a machine, and a spiritual laboratory. The implications for modern humanity are profound. Rediscovering and understanding these principles could enhance meditation, cognitive function, and well-being. It could provide tools for exploring consciousness in ways that align with natural rhythms and universal laws. More than a relic of the past, the pyramid becomes a model for integrating mind, body, and environment, demonstrating how architecture, science, and spirituality can converge to unlock latent human potential. Even skeptics must acknowledge the pyramid's enigmatic power. Beyond its construction, alignment, and hidden chambers, the structure seems designed to evoke awe, curiosity, and introspection, psychological effects that are themselves transformative. Standing within its shadow, tracing the angles of the Grand Gallery, or observing the shafts aligned with distant stars, one cannot help but feel connected to forces beyond ordinary perception. Whether through resonance, geometry, or sheer scale, the pyramid impacts consciousness in ways that modern science is only beginning to measure. Finally, this section highlights a central theme of the documentary. The Great Pyramid was not built merely to preserve bodies or demonstrate human might. It was built to elevate consciousness. Its chambers, corridors, and cosmic alignments were instruments designed to awaken latent human abilities, harmonize with planetary energies, and connect the mind to universal rhythms. In this way, the pyramid serves as both a historical artifact and a timeless guide for human potential. Section 15 prepares the stage for the final climactic sections, where the narrative will synthesize all elements: geometry, resonance, hidden chambers, cosmic alignment, and consciousness, into a resolution that reveals the full scope and enduring significance of the Great Pyramid. After centuries of search, speculation, and legend, the Ark of the Covenant remains one of history's most tantalizing mysteries. Its story, woven through scripture, prophecy, historical record, and imagination, transcends time, culture, and geography. As we draw the narrative to a close, it becomes clear that the Ark is more than a physical object. It is a symbol of humanity's quest for the sacred, the unknown, and the extraordinary. Throughout its history, the Ark has inspired devotion, fear, and awe. Ancient accounts describe its divine power, lethal energy, and central role in the covenant between God and Israel. Medieval legends expanded its significance, portraying it as a coveted treasure guarded by secret societies and hidden from the unworthy. Modern researchers, archaeologists, and explorers continue the quest, balancing faith, scholarship, and imagination. Across millennia, the Ark has retained its allure because it embodies ultimate mystery, a relic that promises revelation yet remains elusive. What makes the Ark enduringly fascinating is the interplay between history and legend. On one hand, it is grounded in tangible events: the construction of the temple, the Exodus, the Babylonian conquest. On the other, it has evolved into a symbol that transcends fact, becoming a repository for human aspiration, imagination, and faith. Every story, every expedition, every theory adds a new layer to the narrative, keeping it alive in collective memory. Even centuries of secrecy, destruction, and concealment have not diminished its presence. They have amplified it. The Ark's mystery is reinforced by the very challenges that frustrate discovery. Political restrictions, inaccessible sites, destroyed records, and ambiguous texts create a veil of uncertainty. Yet this veil is also a source of wonder. The more impenetrable the Ark becomes, the more its story captivates. Its absence is not emptiness. It is a canvas for human curiosity, devotion, and imagination. The Ark's power lies not just in what it is, but in what it inspires: quests, scholarship, legend, and faith. Across cultures, the Ark has maintained spiritual and symbolic resonance. In Judaism, it represents covenant, divine presence, and restoration. In Christianity, it foreshadows the new covenant and embodies mystical power. In esoteric traditions, it is a source of hidden knowledge and sacred energy. Even outside religious frameworks, the Ark functions as a symbol of humanity's desire to uncover ultimate truths. Its mystery is universal, bridging centuries and continents, uniting believers, historians, and adventurers in a shared narrative of wonder. Modern searches, while inconclusive, demonstrate the Ark's enduring pull. Expeditions to Aksum, Jerusalem, the Sinai, and remote caves are not simply quests for a physical artifact. They're quests for meaning, connection, and understanding. Each search reaffirms the Ark's role as a narrative anchor, a focal point for history, mythology, and speculation. Whether it is ultimately found or remains forever hidden, the Ark continues to shape how humanity interprets the sacred, the powerful, and the unknown. The Ark also endures in popular imagination, from films like Raiders of the Lost Ark to documentaries, novels, and interactive media. These modern interpretations blend history, legend, and adventure, keeping the Ark relevant and compelling. They remind us that stories are living things. The Ark's legend evolves with each retelling, reflecting the concerns, desires, and imaginations of every generation. Its mystery is not static. It is dynamic, inspiring curiosity, awe, and reflection. What can be concluded about the Ark's current state? While scholars debate its physical location, Aksum, hidden chambers in Jerusalem, remote caves, or even lost to history, the true significance of the Ark may lie beyond its material existence. It embodies the intersection of human faith, history, and imagination. Its story demonstrates that some mysteries are valuable precisely because they are unresolved. The Ark challenges us to embrace uncertainty, to wonder, and to continue seeking knowledge and meaning. The Ark's enduring mystery also carries lessons about secrecy, stewardship, and respect. Throughout history, those entrusted with its care, priests, Templars, monks, have maintained strict codes of guardianship. This preservation ensured that the Ark remained sacred, protected, and revered. The principle extends beyond the Ark itself. Some knowledge, power, and sacred objects may be too potent, too profound, or too transformative to be casually exposed. The Ark teaches that reverence and restraint can be as important as discovery. Ultimately, the Ark's power lies in its narrative. It embodies humanity's longing to connect with the divine, to uncover what is hidden, and to grapple with forces larger than ourselves. Its absence reinforces this power, transforming the search into a journey rather than a simple objective. Each expedition, each theory, and each story is part of a continuum stretching back thousands of years, connecting past, present, and future in a shared pursuit of wonder. The Ark of the Covenant, whether hidden in a temple, guarded in Ethiopia, or lost to history, remains a testament to the enduring allure of mystery. It reminds us that not all knowledge is meant to be immediately accessible, that some treasures are preserved by secrecy and reverence, and that the human imagination thrives on questions as much as on answers. Its story is a bridge between history, faith, and imagination, a narrative that continues to captivate scholars, adventurers, and dreamers alike. As the story closes, one truth becomes clear. The Ark's significance is not measured solely by its physical existence, but by the power of its legend. It challenges us to explore, to question, to believe, and to imagine. It invites us to consider the mysteries that lie just beyond our reach, and to wonder what lies hidden in the shadows of history. The Ark of the Covenant may never be found, but its presence will endure wherever curiosity, faith, and imagination dwell. In the end, the Ark's greatest secret may be this. It is not simply a relic of the past, but a living symbol of humanity's eternal quest. Its mystery is a mirror, reflecting our deepest hopes, fears, and desires. And as long as we continue to seek, question, and dream, the Ark will remain alive, hidden, powerful, and endlessly compelling.